Well, thanks everybody for coming. A lot of you have been at practice and I've spoken to already. We're 2 days in. We've had 2 days of helmets practice, and it's been really fun just to be back on the field with the guys. And we had a great day today. We're not practicing obviously with all the things going on, media day, and our guys have finals tomorrow, so there'll be quite a bit of academic stuff that they go through tonight in preparation for that. But had a really good morning. Speaking with the guys on just some team building things, and listening to Dr. Chris Carr came in and spent some time with our guys on some different ways to work through some things from a sports psychology standpoint, which I thought was outstanding. And we're constantly trying to build our team, not just physically but mentally. And he said a pretty interesting thing. I thought, how much of the game do you think is mental? And half the team raised their hand, 80%, 90%, 70%. And he said, how many of you guys work on the mental part of your game that much? And, nobody does. And so it was great to spend the day, kind of working on the mental part of the game with our guys and situation type football. Tonight we'll do some more special teams work after this is over, and then we get to put the pads on tomorrow in the evening. Monday, Tuesday night we'll practice, and Tuesday concludes summer school. And then we'll be in a true fall camp mode, until school picks up after that. So, have a decent idea of how well we run around, but other than that, I don't have any changed opinions on how good our players are until we start hitting. So, that part of where we're at as a team, I'm going to probably refrain from answering, at least until we have the pads on for a week or so. Open it up for any questions. Gary?
Gary Hahn, Wolfpack Sports Network. How has the team overall responded to your way of doing things and the culture change that's taken place? Because you mentioned team building.
I feel like there's a lot of bright eyes. There's good energy, and haven't had a lot of negatives other than how tired we get them at practice. But I think that's pretty universal. And the up-tempo offense and the up-tempo practice style we have, requires a certain mindset, I think, and the guys are working through that really well. I think, there's some guys that are cramping up occasionally, but we're getting through it, and I think they'll learn more and more how they have to be ready from a hydration standpoint to play in our offense, and as we keep moving forward, it'll get better.
Todd Gibson, WNC and TV here in Raleigh. When you got the job, did the Wolfpack faithful let you know how important it is? I know it's down the road to beat UNC, and if so, do you have any stories to tell talking about that?
Well, I think every place you work, there's going to be certain fans that make the rivalry game pretty well known. And the way I've always handled those games, they're really important games the week you play them, and I try not to make the whole season based on that game. I think you lose sight of what's important, and that's the day you're in. We won't beat anybody if we don't worry about getting better today, and that's just how I approach things. I know across town they count it down, and it's important to us, don't get me wrong, but the way that I approach the season is day by day, try to win that day, and look back at the 365 days with a bunch of wins. And so, that's the mindset we have over here.
Aaron Beard with the AP here in Raleigh. How much benefit do you think the spring of guys learning the speed you want to go with is showing up in the early days of just how guys need to get things done?
We're way ahead of where we were. I mean, yesterday's practice was, even compared to our first practice, there was improvement. And guys know what to do, the quarterbacks, the progressions, the receivers, the timing, the communication that takes place, not just on offense but defense, has improved quite a bit. And I think now it's just what we did in the spring. It was 40 to 50 degrees, and now it's 80 to 100. So you're just trying to get used to doing it in those temperatures, and that's really important for us. Knowing that we're going to play in the first game at 12:30, but a lot of warm games here in the first 6-7 weeks of the season. Great.
I know it's early, but where do you think the program stands overall in team speed and athleticism?
Well, it's gotten better. I think we added some good skill. And again, we haven't tackled anyone or done anything like that yet, but the receiving core and the defensive backs that we brought in, there's 10 of those guys combined that are new. have increased our team speed immensely. And we have depth now at those, even though it's young, it's depth. We didn't have any in the spring on either side of the ball in our skill positions. The running backs, they added 3 guys there that can run. So I feel a lot better than I did. It was pretty poor in the spring because we had no depth. And it's a lot better now. But you can always get faster. I think that's one thing we'll continue to try to do with recruiting.
So much of the focus on being the up-tempo offense, the quarterback position battles, all that. Not so much on the defense. Where's the defense right now? How is that?
Yeah, I like you, man. Talk about defense. Our defense without pads on, it's hard to say because defense is about, leverage and tackling. So we haven't done any of that yet, but they're coached with a lot of detail. And I love watching Coach Huxtable and the staff. I think that the kids know the calls. There's some nice length on that side of the football, and there's some really good depth on the defensive front, and that's really important. So I feel good about what we have. Now we've got to go do it, And there's some new guys, in the lineup, particularly a linebacker, that need to step up and can. We got a lot of work to do to get them there still.
Lauren Brownlow, Fox Sports Carolinas. When you make the switch to an up-tempo offense, sometimes one of the position groups it's hardest on is the offensive lineman. Where are they kind of in the transition, and where do you want them to be, both from mentally and strength and conditioning?
Well, they're better than they were, and the heat's gonna, when you get the pads on, you're putting on basically heat jackets, but we've had some guys. Tyson Chandler's lost 40 pounds. Ali Kasem, our junior college guy, that guy was 380 pounds on his visit here back in December or January, whenever it was, and now he's 341. So, there's some guys that have done the right things over the summer that look totally different, and hopefully it'll pay off, Like I said, we haven't blocked anyone with pads yet, so to tell you that it looks better, on paper it does. We'll find out here in the next week or so where their conditioning level is, though.